Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to our live stream. I am Jen, as you can see floating at the bottom of the screen from English with Jen, here to offer you a quiz for the week. Our topic is memories. And so it's a nice, fun little quiz. It's to practice your English, to learn some new vocabulary, to learn a fact or two, to debate a fact or two. Sometimes I get these things wrong. And it's just a nice place for us to all connect. I hope I can stay up. Hey, Yuki, until this live starts. I woke up early this morning, went out, and got home just before your first live. My husband is already asleep on the couch, and I will whisper so I don't wake Chama. All right, so I hope you can make it. I will go ahead and start our lesson because I have to check out of this hotel in less than 50 minutes. So we need to get boogieing here. Excuse me. So let me find the placement that I need to be. Let's see. I think, oops, that looks pretty good. Hey, Karina, dear. Hey, Gracie. So, okay, let me see. And I have to be a little bit quieter for Chama. All right, number one, we have, so which senses do scientists say is the strongest and fastest trigger for memories? Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to see y'all all again. So happy. So is it sight, so seeing? Is it hearing? Is it touch? Or is it smell? What can you tell? What can you say to me? So what is it that you think? So which of these senses is the strongest? I'm going to pull up my information over here. I have to I'm like leaning down, so this probably looks horrible, but it's hard to, I don't know, maybe let me try to move myself up here. Let me see. Okay, maybe that's better. Maybe, hold on, I will come closer to you. Ta-da, not really, hold on. Maybe that's a little better. Okay, so D, smell. Yes, exactly. So it is smell. We'll go through these a little fast. Everyone can guess, and then we'll just kind of go through them. Because like I said, I have to check out of this hotel in less than an hour. So, okay, let me see. I've got really 80s hair today. I don't know what's going on. It's all poofy. So let's see. So yeah, and I have more things to tell you. So smell. I'm just making things work here. Thank goodness for the backs of sofas. So smells bypass the thalamus, okay, no idea where that is, and goes directly to the olfactory bulb, which is connected to the amygdala. Say that 3 times fast. Amygdala. And hippocampus, the primary memory-making parts of the brain. So that's what happens here with smell being the one sense that is really the strongest when it comes to remembering things. You smell the smell of a cake or an old book, or like in my case, my grandmother's kitchen. It had this really intense smell of different spices. It was wonderful. All right, let's move on to our next slide. Let me see, I need to get us down there. Let's see. So let's see, number 2. I hope all of you are doing well. Didn't ask, and I should probably do that. Hope everyone's happy and having a nice day. So here we go, number 2. The fastest time to memorize a deck of 52 playing cards is 13.96 seconds. Alex Mullen used the pneumanic, that's so hard to say. A lot of words here that are difficult to say. Pneumanic technique that involves A, visualization of numbers and cards, B, associating items with locations and familiar places, or C, grouping items into smaller amounts. What can you say? So Karina's already guessing C, grouping items into smaller amounts, and that's how he was able to memorize a deck of 52 playing cards. And what else? Do we have any other guesses here for what this might be? Visualization of numbers and colors. So he's like red heart and number attached to it, or did he associate items with familiar places? I think kind of like creating a story. So Yuki's guessing B, Karina's saying C, and the answer is actually B. So grouping items, associating items with locations in a familiar place. So I think they kind of go around a room and they say, I'm walking into a room that's the Queen of Hearts, that's, something like that, or the Seven of Spades, I take off my shoes. So they kind of create a story to remember really long and detailed numbers and things of that nature. I think that's an interesting method that might even work with me. Maybe. I don't know. Has anybody ever tried doing that where you associate, you create a story to try to remember something? I sometimes do that with my shopping list. If I need mayonnaise and butter and, I don't know, broccoli, I'll do MBB, 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 like trying to remember the first letter of something, trying to somewhat create a bit of a reference point. All right, let's see. Number 3. According to studies, what percentage of details are lost from a memory after a year? Do you think it's around 80%, around 50%, or 30%? See, we think about it like we have memories, and then we have them, they're fresh in our heads, and then they start to fade. So we can say a memory fades. It becomes less clear, less colorful. And how long do you think that it is? So Karina's going with B. Anybody else want to guess? I do a similar thing to memorize phone numbers. Oh, really cool, Yuki. All right, that's interesting. So you kind of create a story out of it. So, and that word that we learned is pneumanic. Pneumanic. I can't pronounce that. Pneumanic. Whatever. Create a story. So Gracie says C. Okay. So Karina's going with B. Gracie's saying C. And I'm going to tell you that it's actually B. Around 50% of our memories fade after the first year, which I find is very scary. So I guess if you have a nice memory, it's good to go ahead and write it down, write all the details, so that if you do forget, then you're able to remember it a little bit better. And yeah, maybe that's a nice thing to do. Rapunzel's scheme, did you hear about it? No, I don't know that. Mohammed, tell me about that. I'm interested. Never heard of that. Okay, moving on to our next one, to number 4, and we're going to talk about classical composers. So Mohammed has a classical story for us, or a classic story for us, and now we're going to talk about classical music composers. So let's see. Number 4. Which famous, my screen here is so tiny, so maybe I can do this and then I don't have to look away from you. That's not very polite. Let me see if I can make my screen bigger. Nope, that made everything smaller. All right, I'm just not going to touch anything. So let's see. So which famous composer was known for hearing a piece of music only once and then writing down every note? So this composer, either Beethoven, Mozart, Bach, or Chopin, one of these composers was able to listen to an entire piece of music, several minutes long, hear it once, sit down, get a piece of paper, and write it all. Hey, Natalia, you have no idea. Okay, so anybody else have any other guesses? I'm going to try to actually move this. This is ridiculously small now. Maybe if I go in. No, it's still small. Oh my gosh, I have no idea what's going on. Why is that doing that? All right, so Karina's going with A, Gracie's going with A, and the answer is B, Mozart. So the child prodigy, the very smart child that from the beginning of his life was able to play music incredibly well, was also able to listen to a piece of music, sit down and write down all the notes. Mozart had an extraordinary musical memory, something called eidetic hearing. So it's like he could instead of seeing something and being able to see it again, he had that with hearing. So instead of a photographic memory, he had sort of a photographic memory with his ears. I find that so fascinating. He could listen to complex music. He could listen to complex music a single time and reproduce it perfectly. People who knew him often said he carried a whole piece in his mind after just one hearing. That is extreme talent. All right, moving on to number 5. Let's see. Number 5, and here we go. I hope that's changed. My screen now is so ridiculously small. I don't know what's going on. Okay, I hope that slide has changed for you. It should have, number 5. And so here we are. I'm not sure what it looks like for you. Is everything okay? Can you see me okay? Here in Patagonia is another woman, similar skill, and is in the Guinness Book. Her name is Ivana Adzija. So she can listen to music and then be able to write down the notes instantly. Wow, that's so impressive, Gracie. Wow. All right. So let's see. We are moving on to the next one. Stockholm syndrome. Stockholm syndrome is a psychological phenomenon where hostages or victims develop sympathetic feelings. Yes, I've heard of that before. Definitely. Yeah. Hello, Abba Fazil. Welcome. So let's see. So what percentage of the population is estimated to have eidetic, so photographic memory? We said that Mozart had eidetic hearing, where he could hear something and he could remember it because it's almost like he could see it a bit in his head. And some people can see something. I had a friend in high school, and she never had to go to class because she could take the textbook the night before the test, look at the pages, and she could remember everything because she had a photographic memory. So yeah. So, but let's see, what percentage of the population has this ability? 1%, 10%, or 20%? What do you think? Which one do you think? I'm going to add no. Okay, everything is still very weird here. I don't know what's going on. So which percentage of the population do you think has a photographic memory? Yuki guesses 1%. Okay. Any other guesses that anyone can tell me? Let me see how I'm doing on time. We're good. We're 50% into our lesson here, and that gives me still 30-something minutes before I have to check out. And then we're going to hit the road. I'll go and have breakfast with my aunt and my uncle and my other uncle. And then I will drive with my uncle to where my dad grew up and see his place, see my grandparents' house. So I'm very excited. All right. So Gracie is saying 5. I'm not sure what that means. But yes, Yuki, you're correct. Less than 1% of the population has the ability to be able to, you don't see the answers. Okay, sorry. Okay, something's going on. Let me remove this. I don't know what happened to my screen. Okay, I think I did something strange to things here. Show scene in panels. We don't want that. We want this. Let's see if this is going to work. Are you doing it? You are doing a great effort to give this. Thank you. I don't know what's going on. Let me try to get us back on track here. Thank you for the heads up that you can't see things. So let me see if this is, can you see things now? Is it okay for you? Because for me, our little screen here is about the size of a stamp. It's so tiny. You will have a great time with it. Yes, I'm really enjoying my time with my family. I've not seen them in so long. I saw one of my aunts yesterday that I had not seen since 2009. So 15 years. So it was really incredible. And we surprised her, went to her house and opened the door, and there I was. And she's like, oh, it was so amazing to see her. So I hope that you can see the slide better now. If not, give me a heads up. I'm trying to figure out, nope, stay in the studio, why this has gone very strange. Let me know if you can see the answers or not. But our answer here with, with percentage of population, it's 1% of the population can see. Everything is perfect. Okay, cool. Thank you for the feedback. Super appreciate it. You can always let me know. Please do let me know if something looks strange or something is off. All right, let's see. Cool. All right, let's move on to number 6, and we're heading to Japan. So, number 6. And I'm not touching anything. I hope you can see. Let me know if you can. Number 6, Akira Haraguchi from Japan holds the record for reciting pi, so the little symbol pi, to 100,000 decimal places from memory. How much time did this accomplishment take? Akira Haraguchi was at a place and it took either 24 hours, 16 hours, or 8 hours to remember 100,000 numbers of pi. I hope that Akira Haraguchi had a nice glass of water next to them and something like a lozenge for their throat, because I would think that all of like speaking, I have this sometimes after live streams where my throat just is gone, talking for an hour, sometimes 2 hours with us. So yeah, I feel for Akira. What do you think? 24 hours, 16 hours, or 8 hours? I wish I had that kind of memory skill. I do too. Karina's going with B with 16 hours. Okay, so I take it you can see the information. Yuki's going with B. And so the answer is B, 16 hours. 16 hours. 16 hours of standing there and reciting numbers. Wow, that's intense. That's really intense. That's a lot. All right, moving on to number 7, and we're going to talk about something that we talked about a bit in our live stream earlier today, when we talk about the age in which someone typically has a memory. So let's see, 7%, number 7, sorry. Okay, here we go. What percentage of people can remember something before the age of 2? Is it around 25%? Around 15%, or less than 10%? What can you tell me? What is the percentage of people that can remember something before the age of 2? So, what do you think? Because they say that there's a certain time, like early on in your childhood development, that you can't really remember things. You know, it's maybe you think you remember, or maybe you do, but very small percentage can remember something before the age of 2. Yuki's going with C, Natalia's going with C, Karina's going with A, and it's actually C. Less than 10% of the population in the world can remember their dreams before the age of 2. Our brains are just not developed to store those kinds of memories. Yeah, exactly, Gracie, around 10%, exactly. Okay, moving on to number 8, and we're talking about forgetfulness, forgetting things. And here we go. I hope. There we go. According to research, how much information do we typically forget within 24 hours if we do not review it? Right? So we said earlier that within the first year, we lose 50% of our memory. Now, what about within the first 24 hours? Is it 50, 80, or 90%? What can you tell me? 50, 80, or 90? Which percentage do you think? This is, I mean, basically something happens, you just need to write it down. At this point, this is my take on all of this information. So any guesses? I think Karina, you guessed A, 50%. Natalia's going with 50%. Any other guesses? B, in my case, 98. Yuki, in my case, 99.5%. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, sister. 80%. So exactly. So 80% within the first 24 hours. So already 80% of that memory is gone. And then within the first year, whatever's left over, that 20%, is then cut down to 50%. I find that crazy. So if you have a memory, you experience it, journal it, write down all of the details, basically before you go to bed at night, I guess, so that you don't forget anything. I think it makes sense. It sounds sort of exaggerated, but actually I think it does kind of make sense. In my case, it does, definitely. but I have a really bad memory. So moving on to number 9 and trying to improve our memories, we have this question for us. Let's see. Okay. So, what action has been shown to improve recall of information according to research? So, is it A, drinking coffee, B, chewing gum, C, listening to music? Which one do you think helps to improve recalling, to remember information? So, you have a memory, it's hazy, it's not very vivid anymore, and you want to recall it. Then what should you do if you want to try to remember it? Now is worse because we are overwhelmed with info. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Okay, Gracie, you're going with C, to listen to music. Karina's going with B, chew gum. Natalia, listen to music. Any other guesses that you can share with me? And I will go with the answer. I'll let you know the answer. So the answer is B. Hello, Serena, dear. Chew gum. So they say that it can help your memory improve by around 20%. So if you chew gum, it could maybe help you to remember those hazy memories by at least by 20%, which I would take. I heard people can't live without forgetting things, losing memory as a skill to protect our hearts. Ooh, that's interesting. I never heard of that. Okay. Yeah. Wait, I heard people can't live without forgetting things. You mean, and I think that you mean in this case, Yuki, that it's important for us to forget some things. Yes, losing memory is a skill to protect our hearts. Yeah. I guess we just are like a computer. We could be overloaded with information. There's only so much we can take. I never chew gum. Maybe that is the reason why I have a bad memory. Maybe. Or maybe when you want to remember something and you can't, you're trying to remember the title of a book or a TV show or someone's name. Chew a piece of gum and take a look and see if that helps you. Do a little experiment. Chewing gum is a bug for gastritis. I'm not sure. People let chew gum to not forget. Yeah, I think we should all just like, before we start our lesson, we'll just chew gum, right? We'll chew gum for the next hour and a half or however long we have a lesson. And then we won't forget things. Maybe that's the key. I should make some gum, some English with Jen gum, and then we can chew gum and remember things better. Maybe. All right, number 10, watching too much TV, okay, may hurt your memory, according to some scientists. After about how many hours a day can it become a problem, right? When does it potentially become a real problem? Is it A, after 30 minutes, B, 1 hour, C, 2 hours, or D, 10 hours? What do you think? When I tried to lose my weight, I was chewing gum to prevent my appetite. So it can also be that it helps with things like that as well. And I heard, like, I have skin under here that I don't like. I heard this tightens this area. So I should chew gum for that. Chewing gum, even though it looks tacky, it has some great advantages, I think. Okay, Yuki's going with D. Natalia's going with D. 10 hours, 10 hours. Karina's going with C. 2 hours. And any other guesses? Otherwise, I'll go ahead and let you know what the answer is. I can't even see how many people are in our lesson right now. I have no idea. Serena's going with 2 hours. Exactly. So Karina and Serena, your answers are correct. 2 hours is the amount of time in which watching TV can be bad for your health. And and it's more like this. It's more like passive TV, because like our lessons sometimes go for a long period of time, but that is actually, I think, good for your brain because you're listening and you're actively engaging in it. So it's this opposite of passive watching something and listening to something. I think that, coming to our lessons and participating and concentrating for all of this time, for such a long period of time is really good. This is my argument for us. This is it. And mobile, yes, mobiles are bad too. Definitely, definitely. So Natalia, the answer was 2 hours. I think that's what you wanted to say. I'm not sure. Research suggests that long periods of passive TV watching, so like binge watching your favorite series, not so good, may be associated with poorer memory and a higher risk of cognitive decline over time. Activities that keep brain actively engaged, like reading puzzles, conversations, which I think that we are doing, tend to be more helpful for brain health. Hello to you in St. Petersburg. Hi hat, Billy. Studying English improves my memory. Definitely. I think it's one of the best things you can do, because especially the way that we do it at the stage, it's really where you really are active and you're participating in this, then it's a really active way of conquering, I don't know, brain shrinkage. So I will go live again tomorrow at 3 p.m. So that's an hour and 37 minutes earlier, wherever you are on this planet. So we will learn more vocabulary, idioms, phrasal verbs, talk more about memory and memories. So if you enjoyed this lesson today, if you enjoyed especially the one on Instagram, because that's more reflective of the way that we do our lives, then join me tomorrow. Follow this account and become part of the community. I hope you have a lovely day. I'm going to go and eat some breakfast. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Yuki. So tuck Chama in. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Gracie. I'm really enjoying being home. It's been very therapeutic to be home. And sometimes you do that. You just need to go home and see everyone. And yes, hugs to all of you. I hope to see you all tomorrow. For me, it will be 9 a.m. For you, probably, yeah, if you're in Europe, 3 p.m. Like the normal time we always go live here on YouTube. Have a great day. Take care. And yeah, see you. 13 are watching. That was it. Okay.